Hello and welcome. I am Sylvia Hartmann, the president of the Guild of Energists and the creator of Modern Energy. And I am delighted to invite you on a wonderful trip across time and space and all dimensions into the glorious topic that is love and logic together, combined, in perfect harmony, singing together, elevating both concepts to a whole new level. And I can't wait to be doing that. I'm really looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite things, one of my big life's quests to understand love and logic. And as a youngling, I used to try to do that separately, to understand love and to understand logic. And then as I got older and wiser, I began to see some interesting things on the topic. And we shall get into that. Please make sure to like and subscribe and come back later, leave a comment, help me share the good news that humanity isn't insane, that they're just stressed out of their heads, out of their minds, out of their bodies, out of their spirits. And there's something practical we can do about it. And yeah, we need to do something about it. I'm really convinced of that. Okay, just going to say good morning to Lioness and Marina and to Peter and Rob and Ray. Hello, Ray, my darling. Lovely to see you here this morning. I'm always delighted to have my live participants with me because they guide me with their comments and they ask fabulous questions. Oh, good morning, Paul. Lovely. Good morning, and everyone. And Ilka, hi. Yeah, brilliant. We have a council of immortal beings here that can, when they get their minds together, create wonderful things. And Chamazier, hello. Yeah, love and logic. Where do we start? There are so many places we could start. This morning I posted on social media a picture of Mr. Spock from Star Trek, from the original Star Trek series. And I was absolutely fascinated by Mr. Spock. Absolutely fascinated by the concept of being able to not have any emotions, have the emotions out of the way, and somehow this leading to clean and scientific thinking. Because as a youngling, no, this is unfair. All my life, right up until this point, I am extremely reactive. I experience very powerful emotions. I do. And I really do, to the point that, there's not a lot I can do about it to control them in any shape or form. There's one there's one particular thing that sprang to mind when I was really little, about 7. My school class went to a zoo and we got to the monkey cages, and I had this complete meltdown. The other children, they were kind of laughing and pointing at the monkeys and saying how stupid and crazy they were and how funny. And all I got was this incredible onslaught of suffering that totally overwhelmed my little aspect. And she just, to the point that she actually just had a total nervous breakdown, started screaming and thrashing, and was carried out of the zoo and put back into the bus in the car park. And one of those sort of events, I just couldn't control that at all. And as you can imagine, this poses tremendous challenges in normal society. But, and this is something that I really would like to say as well this morning, I was so lucky to have been born in 1959, and that I wasn't taken to therapists, that I wasn't prescribed drugs to calm me down, that I wasn't at an early age watching the most horrendous porn you can possibly imagine on the internet, that I wasn't cyber bullied by everybody in my class over mobile phone from dusk till dawn. I am just so grateful, because I can't imagine what a person with my disposition, what would happen to them in this day and age. Now, back in the day, people tried to ignore it as best as possible, and I used to roam the countryside in order to find some solace and peace of mind and getting back to some kind of balance and harmony in my life. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful. And I did say um, earlier, we must understand the levels of difficulty and suffering the younglings of today are experiencing, and compare that to our upbringing and our times, and realize how lucky we were that so many crazy things had not yet happened, and that we were essentially allowed to find our own path to healing and sanity. And and here we are. We are sane people. Oh, good morning, dear Susanti. Hello. Wonderful to have you here with us this morning. We need to be extremely compassionate and loving towards the younglings of today, regardless of how crazy their ideas may seem, or how disrespectful they are behaving, or whatever it is that they're doing. We really need to come back with deep compassion, love, understanding, and everything that we can possibly do to help them on their way, on their path to find their center eventually, to find their power eventually, and become more satisfied with their existence, with their lives, and start looking for the next star event that will help evolve them further. And I really wanted to say that this morning. So thank you for listening. Yeah, and that's a part of love and logic. So going back to my aspect, who was completely at the mercy of her emotions all the time, and she was really scared as well to lose the plot again and start screaming and thrashing around, and I don't know, making a fool of herself, whichever way you want to call that, causing major disturbances, being chucked out of clubs and institutions because of it. She really wanted to be anything other than that what she was, and there was no support for this or no understanding of this. And so when Mr. Spock came along, person who has no emotions at all, this was, I mean, hugely attractive, hugely fascinating, hugely, this is the way I want to be. I want to have no emotions at all. And in a way, my young aspect really kind of did something that human society had done in the past, to say that emotions are bad and it's best not to have them. Because if you don't have them, then you can fit in with society, and then you can, and other people will like you more, or, and that, of course, is the big problem. So my aspects thought that emotions were the enemy. But then at some point, the thought occurred that if you don't know anything about your enemy, how you're ever going to defeat it, if you don't know what emotions are. And that question needed to be answered. Above all else, what the hell are emotions? What are they? And then came along thought field therapy and then emotional freedom techniques, and they defined emotions as a disturbance in the energy field, in the energy body. A disturbance. Emotions are a disturbance. And that would have been fine. That goes right in with the song that everybody else is singing, that emotions are a disturbance and it's best not to have them at all. But by that time, my aspects had already become aware of the fact that there are these other emotions, the positive emotions, the amazing emotions. When you start to feel truly alive, when you start to feel truly connected to nature, to another human being, to your own self, or the emotions when you fall in love and what that does to your state of being, how you all of a sudden, gravity all of a sudden goes away. It's lighter. You can just dance through your days, and birds land on your hands and people in the street smile at you. The positive emotions, where were the positive emotions? And yeah, that was my big sort of revelation, that our living energy body creates our emotions. Rather than emotions being a disturbance in the living energy body, emotions are the feedback device from the living energy body. They are our true sixth sense. They tell us what we cannot see, hear, touch, feel physically, scent, or taste. They're the sixth sense to help us navigate our way through the world. And when that happened, the negative emotions and the positive emotions came back together all of a sudden, and they became more than the sum of their parts. Then all of a sudden, it all started to make sense. Everything clicked together, and emotions in that moment became very logical. Very logical, very predictable, gave us the modern energy chart with the different states of emotional, you know, things that result in behavior and all of those things. Emotions became logical in that moment. And kind of that's what I've searched for all my life, to understand emotions. For me, that was absolutely brilliant. So instead of me thinking of myself as being completely crazy, there was something terribly wrong with me to react so emotionally to so many things, I started to think in terms of, well, I just have a very reactive energy body. It really reacts. It is extremely sensitive. I can sense a long way away if a person has a negative intention towards me, or if a house that I walk into has a good or a bad atmosphere, whether an animal is about to attack. I'm very finely tuned. My sixth sense is very finely tuned. And that's like having super sharp hearing. So this is great for so many different situations. But when somebody comes and shouts, oh, it hurts. And you just, oh, that's just nothing more, nothing less than that. And the onslaught of suffering from the monkeys in the cages there at that zoo, all the way back in 1966. Whew. That was like somebody screaming into the ears of somebody who's extremely sensitive in their hearing. So that's kind of really nice. And that helped me a lot with my self-concept and with being able to go on and do the things that I do and try and share this with others, because I swear to God, I'm not the only child that would freak out in a zoo and seeing all those unhappy, sad, crazy monkeys rather than laughing at them. I'm not the only person in the world who has been asking these questions their entire life long and may have come to the wrong conclusion that they're crazy or that there's something wrong with them, when in fact it's just one of those things, right? It's one of those things. And That is a big part of this bringing love and logic back together. Of course, first of all, you have to have love. When the old emotions, they stop at having no emotions at all. Because then you only have the negative emotion, and then you have every reason in the world to just want to tap all your emotions away to zero. So you feel nothing at all. Or to, I don't know, hold on to an e-meter. And when the e-meter goes to zero, then you're good, you're cured. And that's just not the way to go about it. Okay, so let's do something. Shall we do something? Would you like to do something? And the very first thing that sprang to my mind, what we might want to do, is a rainbow connection. That's always a fine thing. So when you think of logic, where would you say that is in your where is that located? I think we might have some slight problems with the stream here. I get a spinning wheel once in a while. So I'll start that again. When you think of logic, where do you place that? And for me, it's around about here. Just there. It's quite nebulous. It's about there. And where this is, just have the general location in mind. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the location for love. Okay. I'm just going to type reload the page if you can't get the stream back. That's live, the funs and games of live streaming. So how far did we get? Right, okay, we got logic as a concept here. And now have a think of where you might find love. Where is love? And that for me is on the other side, and it's kind of, it's bigger. It's bigger, much bigger. And there's more of it, and it's deeper and wider. So I've got a small little thought field here called logic, and a great big one here called love. And all we're going to do in the rainbow connection is we're going to use our hands of energy. And if you need to do that, just briefly place it in the heart position to charge up your hands of energy. And now, when you can feel your hands starting to tingle a little bit, they're ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to, with our leading hand, draw a connection from one to the other. Now, call that the rainbow connection because you can think of it as a beautiful rainbow of all the colors that we know and those we don't. And what that tells our system is to connect these two data fields so that energy can flow between them, both ways, in equal measure. And so that the love field is bringing in the data, the energy, the information into that logic field. And the logic field is bringing its data and information into that love system. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting tingles all down my back, and oh, my hands are tingling, really something beautiful. And while this process is taking place, we can also do the other connection, which is from underneath, like an upside down rainbow, to make this connection complete so that energy can stream between the two, flow between the two. And in so doing, enriches them both and makes them more than the sum of their parts. Ah, and that's really interesting. I'd like you to just take a moment after you've done this and notice, did you have any insights come to you? Any ideas? Did any memories flash up relating to either love or logic? What happened when you connected these two areas together in that way? And the other thing that I would ask, after they've been connected, do they represent differently now? So, for example, if you're now thinking of logic again, is there a change? For me, because I've done the exercise too, the logic was quite small and it was kind of nebulous. It is much, much bigger now. It's brighter. It is growing and it is lighter and is becoming much, much more similar to the loved one, which has also become sort of more rounded. It was like a half moon shape before, but it's becoming more rounded as a result of this interaction. And that's really fascinating. And I'm absolutely loving it. It's giving me tingles and shivers and it's making me happy. So cool. Let's just see. Ah, okay. Marina says, love and logic are far away from each other, is what I realized. Yeah, and they don't have to be. In fact, they don't want to be. Love and logic are meant to be together. They are meant to be together. See what Lioness says. I feel much more calm, settled, but not stagnant. Yeah, like when we have these thought fields, if you want to call them that, I call them areas, existing energetic realities, and we say no more. They're made of energy and they're quite real. The reason we know they're real is when we work with these sort of things, so that we can actually physically feel changes and also emotional changes. Like Lioness said, she's feeling much calmer, but also intellectual changes. We can get new ideas, insights, even change our minds on certain subjects, and that's quite wonderful, really. I mean, how do you change people's minds? Well, better information flow, better energy flow. Free them from the cages of entrainments. Yeah, you know. The more information flows and the more energy flows, the better the system functions. And that is something that I just know to be true. And it's quite wonderful. Anybody else had any reactions to this that they would like to share? See, I can sense that when I did mine, so I have a much brighter logic field now. It looks more like I'm not going to say a sun, because there's like a core in it that is really bright and the rest radiates out quite softly. And on the other side, the loved one is much more like that now, although the core is bigger. It is kind of the same thing, only this one's a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage more energy flow between them. Go the other way. Energy flows both ways. It's not like water. Water only flows one way. Energy flows both ways, which is cool. So I'm going to encourage these two to flow more energy between them. exchange more energy, if only to take the power from the love and grow the logic, which clearly isn't its full size yet. It could be bigger. Ooh, and give permission for this to happen. It's okay. It's all right. The more energy, the more love there is. The more information, the more love there is. And love is the most powerful form of energy in the multiverse. Trust in love. Don't worry that you're going to turn, after this, you're going to become some sort of scientist, or you become autistic, or some weirdness happens, or that all of a sudden you don't like your own life anymore. That is not going to happen. Our systems are built from love. They're designed to love and protect us. Just trust in that fact that the more energy flows, the more wisdom you have, the more you know, the better you are placed to start to understand reality absolute. And I'm a big, big fan of that. Let's see what Paul says. The energy feels like it's flowing better and stronger between them. I feel more of a sense of knowing. That's awesome. Well done. Keep 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 it up. Keep encouraging this and saying, yes, it's okay. Let that energy flow between love and logic. It's the right thing to do. Energy loves to flow. Information loves to flow. It's its very nature. And they are one and the same. So encourage that energy flow. Don't be afraid. Let it happen. Don't hold back on it. It can only make us more loving and more logical. And that is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So what's happened with mine now is that I got two bright lights that are magnetically being drawn to each other. They want to merge. And I am going to not just let that happen, but give, gratitude. The gratitude of a lifetime for love and logic to become one and the same. Because it's been such a long time. It's been 30 years or more since I realized that in principle, in theory, that there is a state of being where love and logic are the same. Not sides of a coin, but exactly the same. Exactly the same. No difference between them. Love and logic are the same. And I think you and I both have already experienced this in the very high +10 energy states. That for a moment there, we understood it, we knew it, and we realized that that is it, that love and logic need to be one and the same. There should be no division between them. What logic knows needs to inform love, and what love knows needs to inform logic. So I'm going to allow that to happen. I'm going to give it not only my permission, but my encouragement, my round of applause, my anything that I can do to make that so, to let them come and become one and the same, just one bright light. And then I can ask that to come to me and just let me be inside of that. Oh, and the thought just came to me from the GOE trainers training. Your training is a ball of light and you are right inside of it. Imagine our lives were a ball of light and we were right inside of it, in the middle of it. Now, wouldn't that be a wonderful, wonderful thing? Ilka says, It feels like a sparkling fireworks of bright, shining energy. Yes, beautiful. Well done, love and logic combined, becoming more than the sum of their parts. That's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, I can't know what your experience with that exercise was, but if you only felt a little tingle, if you only had one good idea or understood one little thing about yourself, ha, like I understood the moment we started and we had the love in comparison to the logic, how small the logic still was and how big the love was. And I understood right away that what my logic area needed it was more love. It just needed to be loved more. That's crazy, isn't it? Because, if see, what we have in current society is we have a war between love and logic. We have a war going on. Love, on the love side, you have the lived experience. That's what I trust in, what I believe in. On the logic side, we have the science. This is science. And the two are fighting, and they shouldn't be. The very fact that the lived experience doesn't tally with the science means that neither of them are right. The two of them need to come together. And then you have the science and the lived experience being on the same page, which is what happens in modern energy through the modern energy chart, which describes people really well. And that's a scientific instrument, the Sil scale and the modern energy chart, which is the non-subjective version, describes people really well. You can take the modern energy chart out into any family anywhere in the world and go, oh yeah, that tallies with what I can see. This tallies with my lived experience. It's the same. Ha! And that's an example of love and logic being on the same page. And that should also be a warning to us. Where our lived experience diverges from science, that tells us there is something wrong with science. That's a controversial thing to say, isn't it? But then you have to remember that our scientists are doing, or supposedly, doing science at 0. They're not doing science at +10 yet. And when there are scientists who do science at +10, guess what we get? Some kind of genius breakthrough that changes civilizations, that changes the way we do things, that bring benefits that have never been before. So, Linus has a comment. What blew me away was how happy they both were to play together. They started dancing in mutual admiration. I didn't think that was even possible. Oh, seriously, I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled. That makes me so, so happy that you had that experience. So many people think it's not possible because of, so many reasons. But it is possible, not only possible, it's necessary, not only necessary, it is essential to bring love and logic back on the same page to get a new science, if you will. A new science with a new relationship with the people it is supposed to serve. A new science where love and logic are together. Jesus, can you imagine a love-filled science? Radiant. Wow. That's certainly something worth working towards, isn't it? And it really is. So I asked you guys to bring a crystal to the party. Did you bring a crystal? I brought one. Brought little quartz crystal. Really pretty. The crystal is in the energy symbols, little crystal symbol, is the sign for logic and structure. And a couple of days ago at the Community Energist, I was giving a short overview of doing energy symbols with clients and at public demonstrations, which is, really good fun. Yeah, and we were talking about this crystal as a metaphor for love and logic. And there is another word that comes into the game. If you look at your crystal that you brought, you just hold it in your hand, just look at it for a moment. There is one word that comes into that naturally and automatically, and that is the word beautiful. Crystals are beautiful. Human beings look at crystals and they're fascinated by them, and they can't help but admire their beauty. Beautiful, they're beautiful. And that is an attribute that is really important to describe these concepts that we were talking about, love and logic, that they are beautiful. And the more beautiful they become, the more full of truth they become, the more realistic they become. That's really important. Realistic meaning getting closer to the truth that exists beneath the confusions of humanity. There's a real truth, a real structure to the universe. There's a real, the great creative order, as I call it, is totally not random. It is super, super structural. And it is loving. And it is beautiful. When we bring that beautiful energy to these concepts, that creates another threshold shift. So I'm going to invite you to bring back your concepts of love and logic, wherever they are and however they have evolved. Mine is this bright light that is all around me now. And I'd like you to just, the best you can, see if you can look for the beauty, discern the beauty in this structure. Connect with the beauty of that. The beauty of love and logic combined. And I believe that is really, really important and really, really powerful. And this first came to me when I heard a lady mathematician say that people over the ages have been wrong in trying to find beautiful equations, that they were stupid, and that ugly equations that feel bad and counterintuitive are the way forward to the next level of mathematics. And when I heard that, I thought, oh my God, you are one of these people who can't hear the music And that's why you think those are dancing are fools. That lady can't see the beauty. And that is an enormous tragedy. And I don't know how that happens. But I'm just hoping that she won't have too much influence on the development of mathematics, because that quality of something being beautiful, when a human being interacts with it, any human being, a child, an old person, from anywhere in the world with any educational level or none at all, and they interact with that and they naturally come to the conclusion that this is beautiful, that is a whoa, that is a direction towards truth, universal truth, at the very least, about being a human being and how human beings work. And that they are absolutely not only attracted by beauty, but that they are capable of feeling that, of understanding that, and to realize that beauty must be a part of love and logic, or else it's not perfect. It can't be perfect. I'm not asking any of us to create perfect love and logic. I'm not. I'm not. But I do want to put that out there for you as a guiding mechanism, a guiding light to, first of all, believe there is such a thing as pure love and pure logic, and that they are indeed meant to be, that they're beautiful. That when we create systems of thought and philosophies and whatever else human beings create, to never, ever, ever give up that quest for love, logic, and beauty. That's where we need to go. We need to go towards that. And when we do, then we are doing the right things as human beings living in this universe. So that beautiful quality that we so admire, that we so hunger for, that we so yearn for. Yes, it's a road sign. And it's a powerful, powerful energy form. So we got love and logic, at least beginning to dance with each other, to merge with each other, to come home to each other after a long period of separation. And when we bring beauty back into that same game, then at least we know where we want to go and what we want to achieve, what we want to use. I keep coming back to that. Use as a guiding mechanism in our incarnations. It's got to be beautiful. Dear Lady Mathematician, don't give up the quest for a beautiful equation, a truly, truly beautiful equation that embraces love and logic and makes it one and the same. And boy, oh boy, such an equation could really change the world. And even if we can't come up with it today, if we can even pass on the idea of the quest for the beautiful equation to our children and their children's children, perhaps they'll find it. And even if they never do, they will have at least gone in the right direction and would have had a wonderful life. A wonderful life. Because if you're looking for beauty, it will find you. It will. Oh, dear Tina, good morning. Hello. I'm glad you're here with us today. Ah, Marina said, love and logic together appeared to me like a beautiful explosion of pink color. Yeah, logic can be pink. When I hear the word pink, I think of white, which is all the colors, and red, which is life. It's a sort of eternal life kind of color, is pink. And it's not girly. That's just one of those many, many cages of entrainments out there. White, all the colors, aka love, plus red, life itself. Groovy. Lioness says, a beautiful, long overdue reconciliation and communion. Amazing. I can't tell you how happy I am, guys, that you are here with me, that you are listening to me, that you are having a go with these things. You know, it's, I love love, I love logic, I love beauty. I love them all really, really deeply. And this thing when they come into harmony with each other, that fantastic feeling of truly a dawn, a sunrise, um, an expansion of being able to know more, to see more, to feel more, to experience more, to understand more. And that's just just a blessing to me personally. I love it, and I would love to have other people, experience it too. I really would. Oh, bless you, dear Tina. All right, my friends. So before we go, take your little crystal and just say thank you. Thank you for being the representative of the great creative order today. Thank you for demonstrating how love and logic together create something beautiful that we can love and admire in all ways. Thank you, my little crystal, for being part of this wonderful experience. And by all means, give it a little kiss. Hold it to your heart for a moment. And somewhere that makes our little crystal happy. And if someone comes across this and calls me a fool for saying that, that's okay too. Thank you, my little friend. And through you, on behalf of you, through you to all the crystal kingdom, all the mineral kingdom, thank you for being here and bringing me so much joy. So many moments of stress relief and relaxation. So many moments of reconnecting me with love, logic, and above all else, the beauty that resides in the great creative order. And that was our chat on love and logic today. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please share the love and logic rainbow connection with your clients in your trainings, with your friends over a cup of coffee. Who knows? Whoever might want to have a play with that. Because it's about time that we brought our disjointed, broken, chaotic world of thought and emotion back into this center where our lives become like a ball of light and we're inside of them. And that's both loving and logical and really, really beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody. Lots and lots of blessings to you. Really, really enjoyed my time with you today. I hope that you will go through the week and see explosions of beauty in the most surprising places. And when you see the beauty, that is the expression of love and logic in harmony. With many blessings and lots of love, I look forward to seeing you anew and afresh for next week's energy show, Sunday Live with Sylvia. Lots of love. Goodbye for now.